And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Drink with Rick on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. I'm Rick, and tonight we're going to check out a Napa Valley Quilt. This is a wine from Napa Valley, obviously, and this is going to be a kind of a combination of about three or four different wines, three or four different grapes. So we're going to see how it pairs up with some of the foods I have tonight. Of course, if you're just joining us, and we have several people joining us in the chat right now. Hi, Phil. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Stick around with us. And Jonathan, it's great to see you here. And Charles, you know what? I've got a little surprise for you later too. And Courtney's with us in the chat. It's great to see you too, Courtney. Courtney says a little wine with help will help with that cough. Yes, it will. I was just clearing my throat a little bit. It was fine about 10 minutes ago, and then all of a sudden it just got a little choked up there. I don't know what that was, but I should be okay now. Of course, if you're just joining us, and we're live on here on Facebook, of course. We're live on the Facebook page at Drink with Rick, and on Twitch. You can catch us on Twitch and on Periscope. On Twitter, you can catch it at Drink with Rick Twitter account there, and that's live on Periscope. And of course, YouTube. We are live on YouTube, and I am checking I am checking things on YouTube. Looks like we're up and everything's up and running. Everything seems to be fine as a general rule when it comes to the streams here, although Facebook gets a little problematic sometimes. So if you see the stream going down for a moment or two on Facebook, let me know. I'll see what I can do on this end to fix it, although I may not be able to do too much because it's generally a Facebook thing when that happens. Anyway, you can catch us in all those places. And of course, you can catch us at drinkwithrick.com. We are up live on the front page at drinkwithrick.com. So you can catch us in all those areas. And of course, you can contact me at rick@savoyamedia.com if you want to talk to me or tell me how things are going with you, or tell me what you'd like to see me drinking in future episodes of the show. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the wine now. Again. This is a Napa Valley Quilt, and let me pull up a shot of this. This is a 2017, and what it is, it's a blend of four different wines. We have, this is a Petit Syrah, a Merlot, a Zinfandel, and a Petit Verdot. Excuse me. And the Petit Verdot, I think, is going to be an interesting mix in this wine. We'll see. Drinking a Petit Verdot is something you don't, usually see them mixed in other wines, but usually not on their own too much. And they usually don't put more, from what I understand, they usually don't put a whole lot in each blend because it is kind of a powerful wine to drink, so it's used to accentuate a lot of wines, but usually not to drink on their own. We're going to see how it blends in with this one tonight. Let's get a shot of the back of this wine. I've got, if I can find my there we go. This is what the back looks like. I'm going to read a little bit of this. This is a 2017 Quilt from Napa Valley. The winemaker is Joseph J. Wagner, produced and bottled by Quilt Wines in Rutherford, California. This is alcohol 15.1% by volume in this 750 milliliter bottle. And this does look like it's a screw top, so it should be a fairly quick one for me to open up and get started with. Now, before we open up the wine, let me tell you a little bit about what this wine costs and what I paid for it. Now, I looked this up on a number of websites, and I purchased this at Wine Store in Blakeney, one of my favorite places to shop for wines, of course. And they don't actually have it up on their website. I was a little surprised. I didn't see it on their website, at least last time I looked. But searching around the internet, price-wise, it seems to be quite a diverse uh, diverse price point there. The prices range from anywhere from, I think the most expensive I saw it, let me check this up. There was a McKinney wine merchant has it for $31.99 a bottle, and let's see, Wine Searcher had it. They said that Westgate Wine in Raleigh, North Carolina, have for $29.99 a bottle, and now it on their website, on the Napa Valley Quilts website, they have it listed for $36 a bottle. $36 a bottle, I think, is what they price it at going out the door. So that's from the vintner. That's from the winery itself. And let's see. I think there was another. What else do we have here? Some of the other retailers had it from anywhere from $29.99. I think the cheapest here was about $22.99, $20 a bottle. That's about the going right. So somewhere between $20 and $40 a bottle, I think, is what this wine is going for all around. However, I'm going to show you what I got it for. I picked it up at Wine Store in Blakeney, and I have the receipt right here. And I picked it up for, drum roll, $19.99 a bottle. It was $19.99 a bottle. So that seems to be a pretty good price for this wine. So if the median price is about $29 a bottle, I'd say this. I'm doing pretty good with this. We'll see. We'll see. We'll open it up and taste it and test it out and find out what if it really is every bit as good as it's supposed to be. We'll find out. And let's see who else is in the chat here. My beautiful wife Chi has just joined us in the chat. Hi, honey. I'm glad to see you there. And let's see who else we have on. Anybody going on, joining us on YouTube? We have a couple of people on YouTube watching. No commenters, but we have people watching on YouTube. Don't be afraid to comment. I think that we have one or two people watching on Twitch, but no one really commenting there. And of course, I don't have my Twitter page up, so I can't really see that per se. But it is going on Periscope, so you can watch it live on Twitch. I don't have a comment section set up on the website yet, but you can comment in the comments below live there, and we'll catch that later. Anyway, I'm going to open up this bottle of wine, and I'm going to pour it into my Cooper's Hawk genuine crystal glass from the Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant in Orlando, Florida. And of course, I have my Veneto. There's a little water dripping there as I just rinsed it a little bit. This is the aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set, which can be purchased from $19.99 on Amazon, and of course I have it available on my website at drinkwithrick.com. There's a link to it from the Amazon link is where you can purchase it right from there if you want to do that. You don't have to, but if you do, a few cents of that will go to me in supporting this wine stream, which I would be most grateful for. Now let's go ahead and open this bottle of wine, and we're going to pour it with the aerator in place. Now, last week I forgot the aerator in the very beginning. I'm not going to do that this time. So we've got it in place, and we're going to pour a little bit of this wine. Just a little bit for starters. Let it breathe a little bit. And while it's doing that, let me explain what is actually in here. The Petit Syrah, Merlot, Zinfandel, and the Petit Verdot. And I've got their spec sheet up on this from the winery site, but it doesn't say exactly what the percentages of each one of those is in the blend, at least not what I have here on this page. They don't have the actual amounts of each wine in the blend, so I'm not really sure exactly how much of everything is in there. It's anybody's guess, but we'll find out. So we're going to go ahead and And in fact, maybe on one of the other sites there might be something in here. Doesn't look like it. Nope, I guess not. So it's a mystery of how much of each wine is in here, but we're going to find out how well it tastes. It is a very dark, this looks like a very full-bodied wine. It's a very dark complexion. And, of course, it's sometimes hard to tell from the studio lights here, but it is a dark complexion. It does have a few tears. Well, it looks like the tears are not really kind of forming. It's kind of, don't have a whole lot for tears in this respect. It's very, very, it's very full-bodied, I should say. And there we go. We've got some now. Now, part of it is because the wine needs to be a certain temperature for the tears to form like that, and I don't put that much stock in looking at the tears or the legs, as they call them. But it has to be really it has to be a little warm for that to happen, and it is a little cool in the studio tonight. It is 35 degrees outside here in Charlotte. At least in our neighborhood. So it's pretty cold outside, and it's kind of cool in the studio a little bit. For some reason, this room doesn't heat up all that well in the winter. And we're not in winter yet, but it's starting to feel that way. All right, let me see what we've got here. We have, there's blackberry. I smell some blackberry. And it's kind of a light. The aromas are kind of light. Maybe a little oaky smell to it. Let me get a good taste. Complex. Black cherry, a little chocolatey, maybe a little dark chocolate. Blackberries, of course, and maybe just a hint of strawberry. It is kind of oaky, a little bit oaky. I want to say there's some vanilla in there. And it does have some tannins. The tannins are not heavy. They're kind of light tannins. Not bad. Now it starts off. It starts off pretty strong, and then it's just kind of smooth as it goes down into the back of the palate. It's really interesting. It starts off with a strong. I have to add a little bit more of this. It does start off very strong, maybe a little tart, and then as it goes down to the back of the throat, it really smooths out, almost a silkiness. Yeah, that's an interesting wine. I have some food that we're going to pair it with here in just a moment. Let me get back to the chat for just a moment, see who's in the chat. Jonathan says, Quilt is from Wagner family, Camus. Yes, the same I believe it's the same vineyard for Camus, and I love the Camus wines. They're kind of pricey wines, but whenever I get an opportunity to try one, I do take that opportunity, and they are very good wines. And let's see, Tim's joined us in the chat. Tim, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. And I hope you're doing well. Tell me what you're up to. Tell me what you're drinking. And we have, let's see, anyone else on YouTube. Now, don't be shy. I mean, I know people tend to watch on YouTube more than comment, although we do have people going in, like last week, it was quite active. For YouTube, which is very active for YouTube, because usually people will just passively watch on YouTube and are a lot more active in Facebook. So that's pretty interesting. And I have a couple of comments to make about a discussion we've had last couple of wine streams that actually were from someone on YouTube. that I kind of want to poll everyone here with and find out more about. But before we get to that, let's take a look at what we have to pair the wines with. I have, let me get a closer shot of this. A closer shot, there we go. I have to pair with this wine tonight. I have an interesting selection of food. Now, I was going for a selection based on what was in the wine, the different wines that were in this blend, like the Zinfandel and the Merlot. Although with the Petit Verdot in there, that might affect this somewhat, I don't know. But I have here, my beautiful wife, she made a really nice porterhouse here tonight, a steak. And she also grilled some squash, some zucchini, and some grilled onions. She also has a little bit of a lasagna that she made a couple of nights ago. These are actually kind of leftovers, but it's a really good lasagna. And then I also have a couple of cheeses. I have the, I have the Gouda, the Trader Joe's Gouda that I like so much that we've tried several times in the past. That goes really well with the wine, the wines that we tried before, and also a smoked cheddar. And that's the Pepperidge farm smoked cheddar. So we're going to try it out in just a moment. Let me show you this pepper. You know what? I actually, last week I was going to follow up on the, let me see if I've got it here. I think I do. There we go. This is the cheese that I've been eating. Now we tried this out. This is a Trader Joe's double cream Gouda cheese. I was telling you about this before, and I really like this Gouda. It's not really a smoked Gouda. It's kind of a creamy, kind of a creamy aged Gouda, but it's not aged. I don't think it's really too aged, but I think it's nice. It's really, really nice. It is very creamy Gouda. And we tried it with, let's see what we tried it with. We tried it with I think we tried it with the Chelsea, and we tried it with we tried it with the Chelsea wine, and we tried it with the Excelsior, and then I think we tried it with we didn't try it with the Man wine that we did last week. I should have tried it with that, but it worked really, really well with the Chelsea. The Chelsea one was it just really, it was a great pairing with that cheese. So we're going to try it with this one and see how it works with the Napa Valley wine. This, actually this Napa Valley Quilt, if I didn't mention it before, this is actually called the Fabric of the Land. The Fabric of the, I had lamb on the brain because we had lamb. We had a bit of lamb last time. The Fabric of the Land is what this is actually called. So this is a 2017. So we're going to try it with a little bit. I want to try it with the steak first, actually, and see what it does with the steak. Let me try and the steak is very good, by the way. Thanks, Chi. Appreciate it. The tannins balance this almost perfectly. I like it. But the thing is, though, this has a little bit of a smokiness to it, a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, and I think it brings out the smokiness a little bit more. Let me try this again. Oh, I like that. That's pretty good. That's a good pairing. Now I also have, I didn't show this before, but I also have some potatoes. These are like new potatoes that my wife also made. This is very good. I don't know how it goes well with the potato, but this is the potatoes are great. Now, Chi, did you do that? Did you do that in olive oil? It's okay with the potatoes, but I tell you what, let's try it. Been waiting to do this. Let's try it with the smoked cheddar. I have to pour some more wine. This wine, as I said a moment ago, has a twinge of smokiness to it. And with the tannins, should go okay with this. Oh wow. Oh wow, I like that. That is nice. I like that. I have to try that again. I smoked cheddar and a little bit more of this wine. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. This is a good pairing. This is actually, and let me show you what I've got here to show you what this is. Oh no, I don't have a shot of it, do I? No, I do not. This is a Pepperidge Farm smoked cheddar, and we got that at the mall, actually, I think last week. We went down to the South Park Mall up there in Charlotte, and they had a kiosk there with all the Pepperidge Farm products, as they usually do this time of the year every year. We're coming up in the holidays, so you're going to find the sausages and the cheeses and all kinds of things there. And I picked up one of those, and I think I paid what, $5 for it or something. I forget. It's very good though. Let's try it with the Gouda. I haven't missed yet with the Gouda. And I do like this Gouda cheese. The Gouda is interesting. It should, normally this should work very, very well with Gouda because it has that Merlot in it, and I love the Merlot with this. Try it again. Yeah, it actually helps accentuate the creaminess of the Gouda, the creamy taste of it. But you know what? I like it better. I like it better with that smoked cheddar. I think it goes a lot better with that. So I'll say we'll leave it at that. Let me get back to the chat here for just a moment. Tim says, hi, Rick. And hi right back at you again, Tim. I hope you're doing really well. And she said yes. I take it that it's... I think that you're talking about that you cook that in olive oil. Okay, so Chi says it's not the Hickory Farms. Oh, wait a minute. Am I having a brain fart here? Is it Hickory Farms or Pepperidge Farms? I kept thinking it was Pepperidge Farms. Is it Hickory Farms? All these farms, I know all these farms are I don't know. It's probably Hickory Farms. I don't know. You're probably right. I don't know. Hickory Farms, Pepperidge Farms. Pepperidge Farms makes the cookies, right? That's right. Hickory Farms. I stand corrected by my wife, who does. I don't know if she's correct or not, but I'll assume she's correct, and I'll go with that. So scratch that, folks. The Hickory Farms, I guess, is what it is. I thought it was Pepperidge Farm. Anyway, yeah, in any case, it's good cheese. It's good cheese. Let's see, anything else going on YouTube? Okay, let's go back to Facebook and Twitch. Nothing going on Twitch, but we're back to Facebook. Okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and I've done some of the pairing here. I'm going to go ahead, pour a little bit more wine, and let's do some birthdays and anniversaries and all kinds of good stuff, because I have folks here that need to be toasted. Right here in the chat. First of all, I want to right off the bat, I want to toast Charles, who's in the chat, and hopefully you're still in there, Charles. I want to toast my good friend Charles and Valeria, and they have had their anniversary. I think their anniversary was it today or yesterday? I think it was yesterday, right? But they have their, I believe it's their 4-year anniversary. I think you two have been going together for 11 years, but it's your 4-year wedding anniversary, which is very, very special. and I want to congratulate both of you on that. And I want to say a happy anniversary to Charles and Valeria. And this is a good wine to toast with. So I'll toast you again just because I can. Happy anniversary to both of you. And I hope you have many, 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 many more. I know that you've done a lot of traveling around a lot and things like that. And it's Charles and I go way back, and I've mentioned Charles before. He's been in the chat quite a bit in the past. And he and I go way, way back to Channel 35. And, to be honest, I've actually never met Valeria in person. I'm hoping that one of these days we can go down and visit, and I can actually do so. They seem, I think they're a cute couple. They are. So I want to toast them one more time. Happy anniversary to the both of you. Let's see. Also, Rob and Karen Walsh. I want to toast you to your anniversary. I think was yesterday, I believe. Your anniversary is yesterday. They've been married for 22 years, and that's that's quite an achievement in any book. So I should toast them twice for that. Also, here's to you, Rob and Karen. Happy anniversary, Rob. Is one of the like myself, one of the OGs in podcasting, and he works for Libsyn, and Rob has been a long time podcaster, long time in the business, and I want to say he and his wife Karen, 22 years. That is something. I'm going to toast you again. Happy anniversary to both of you. And we have birthdays. And you know what? I toasted my friend Gary last week, but I'm going to toast him again because his birthday, I think his birthday was just yesterday? Yesterday. So I want to say happy birthday again to you, Gary. Gary and I go way back to high school. So, we have birthdays and anniversaries. We have national days. Now, let's toast some national days just because I think we have some really cool days coming up that are definitely worth toasting. I'm going to look up, it's Hickory Farms. I feel like such a dolt. I keep calling it Pepperidge Farms. What can I say? It's this, folks, for those who are joining for the first time, this is not a scripted show. This is an off-the-cuff, completely. Now, I do have some show notes. I do have a few show notes here. That's because I'm 60 years old, and I've got to be able to help keep my thoughts together. But other than that, this is basically a stream of consciousness show. This is totally unscripted. It's just stream of consciousness stuff. Now, there's some basic things I like to talk about, and I do. I try to get to those, but for the most part, and that's why sometimes I'll ramble on about something, because if we start talking about something in the chat, then we'll talk about that, and then we'll kind of get off track. But that's okay, because this show, look, I'm the host of the show. I may be the host of the show, but I'm not the star. You're the star. You watching me, you here in the chat right now, you are the star of the show. And I want to acknowledge you when you're here, and I want to engage with you directly, and we're chatting here. We're drinking together. We're just socializing together. We're having a good time together. This show is really more about, not really so much about me. This show is about us, everyone together. And you know what? Tim has just brought up something here that I don't want to miss. Tim says that my birthday was yesterday. Tim, I thought, interesting. I don't know how I missed that. How did I miss that? But I'm glad that you brought it up, because it's something I didn't want to miss. So I'm going to pour a little bit more, and I'm going to toast you, Tim. My good friend Tim Bartlett. We also go way back to Channel 35. And he's a great guy. All the people I worked with were really great people. And Tim, here's to you. Happy birthday. You don't have to tell me how old you are. You can if you want, but you don't have to. That's fine. But I just want to say happy birthday to you. May you continue to have many, 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 many more. Tim's daughter is quite the Instagram influencer, I believe, and a bit of a model on her own, isn't she, Tim? And I think she's going to go pretty far in life. I think she's going to go really, really far. She looks like she has a great career ahead of her, I should say. So, Tim, once again, here's to you. I'll toast you again. Happy birthday. I wanted to. Where were we going with this? Oh yeah, the National Days. National Days. Tim says, "Thanks, Rick. You're welcome. Appreciate it." Jonathan, I almost missed you there, Jonathan. You said, "Rick, the wife's always right." Actually, this. Oh boy, and my wife's in here right now, so I got to be careful what I say, don't I? Well, Jonathan. Yes, the wife is always right, even when even when she may not be right, she's right. Right? Even when we don't think the wife is right, even when the husband doesn't think the wife is right, the wife is right. Right? Right. Love you, Chi, and I do. Happy wife, happy life, right? And what's the other saying? If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, and that's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So, gotta keep her happy. Gotta keep her happy. Yes, Tim says at Kate Bartlett blog. That's right. So she has her blog post. I know she was on Instagram, and she has. So Tim, it's Kate. It's at Kate Bartlett blog, right? I'll make a note of that. Check it out. She is. I think she's going to go pretty far. I think she is. And Courtney says, "Watch it, Rick." Yeah, I have to be careful about happy wife, happy life, right? I got to stick to that. But look, I do have a happy life. And if I can say this, Chi, if it's okay, this past week, I'm not going to go into too much detail on about HIPAA rules and all, but my wife had a little bit of minor surgery done earlier in this week. Nothing major, just something that she had to take care of, and this was Monday. I took the day off and drove her out there, and to the hospital and back while she had this done, and it was, and then the procedure went really, really well. It did, and she's recovering. She's fine. She's okay, but what's kind of struck me is interesting when I went to the hospital with her. It was the time that it took to do everything. Now the procedure itself was a very short procedure. It only took about 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. And I mean, she was actually in and out of surgery and into recovery before I realized it hardly. I was just in the waiting room and I thought, well, I'm going to take a nap, and that didn't happen because it was like, oh, they're right away. And, oh, she's ready. She's all done. Yeah, which was great, which is fine. What I thought was interesting is that we were at the hospital a good part of the day, and that was because of the prep time. It's the prep time that does it. The prep time beforehand. And then the recovery after the fact, there's a long time period in between all of that. So, and it wasn't like, now if it was something really serious, like an 8-hour or 12-hour surgery or something, that would have been a really long affair. But just the fact that for something fairly minor as that we had such a long wait time or such a long prep time, and a lot of it was just waiting around. And then waiting to be discharged. That was just a really, really long wait time. We didn't get out of there till early evening, and I thought, that was interesting. That I really kind of expected to go a little bit quicker than it did, but it didn't. Well, I can't say that. I've had surgeries before. I've been in the ER before in the past, and let me tell you something. When you go into the hospital, it's never a in and out kind of thing. It's an all day or all night event, and it's exhausting. It really is. And we were both tired when we got home. We were just both really exhausted just because it had been a long day, and that was just for a very minor thing, surgical procedure. So, and for that reason, I don't like going to the hospital. I don't like going to have things like that done myself. I'm glad I was there for my wife. I mean, I wanted to be there for her, but I just don't like hospitals much. Never have. And it's. I'm glad we have hospitals. I don't want to be, but it just seems that the whole procedure of going in for the procedure is just kind of a long. I don't know. It just seems in some cases I think it takes longer than it should. I think is what happens. But that's not a rant or anything. It's just I'm not a big fan of going into the hospital, so I try to stay out of them as much as possible. And that's one reason why we should all stay healthy, right? And drinking wine is a way to stay healthy. I mean, wine is full of antioxidants, and there are a lot of health benefits to drinking wine. In moderation, of course. In moderation, he said as he poured another glass. But... let's all stay healthy, okay? Here's to staying healthy and staying out of hospitals. So, Tim says that's her Instagram. Okay, so the at Kate Bartlett blog is her Instagram account. So go check it out. Go check it out and see what Kate's doing. I'm really impressed with what she's doing so far. I think she's going to go really far, Tim. What were we? Oh yeah, I got off on another tangent, didn't I? But that's what we do on this Stream of Consciousness show called Drink with Rick. Let's see, anyone else in the chat? I'm going to check all the chats here one more time. Nothing else going on. It looks like Facebook is where all the action is happening. So with that, I'm going to go right into toasting the national days. You know what? I just checked up here. Wine.com has this bottle of Quilt wine going for $49.99. Is that for sure? Really? Quilt Cabernet. No, that's a Quilt Cabernet. That's $49.99. Okay, that's not this one. This is the Fabric of the Land. So we can scratch that. That's all right. It kind of threw me for a second. $50 for this bottle. Am I drinking a $50 bottle of wine? No, I don't think so. $36 though, I think is it tastes a little bit like a $30 bottle of wine. It really does. But for $19.99, I think I got a pretty good buy on this wine. And Wine Store does ship to certain states. They do ship to some, not all, but they do ship to some states. And you can check it if you're interested. They're really good folks, and they'll take real good care of you. Anyway, where was I going again? Where's my... I've got to find my... Here we go. The national days. November 9th. Today is November 9th for another hour and 15 minutes. So, November 9th is National Scrapple Day. National Scrapple Day. Does anyone else know what Scrapple is? I didn't used to know what Scrapple is. I know what Scrapple is. But has anyone else ever heard of Scrapple? Do you know what that is? Anyone out there? If my cousin Pete and Denise were in the chat right now, which I don't see them in here, but if they were in the chat right now, they could tell you right away what Scrapple is because they eat that quite often. It's one of their favorite I think it's one of their favorite breakfast dishes. And Scrapple, and just to fill you in what Scrapple is, see, I don't eat Scrapple myself because it's made basically with pork products and byproducts and whatever's left over from the pig, I guess. And I'm not a pork person. I really don't eat pork much, more for health reasons. It's just, I'm not going to go there right now. It's a personal thing. But I'm not a pork person. Anyway, the let's see, where was I going here? The Scrapple. Scrapple is a very interesting dish made with a bunch of pork scraps and some spices and a few other things they throw in there. It's basically kind of a mishmash of mush that they throw in there of all kinds of stuff, flour and cornmeal and all kinds of other stuff. So they mush it all together, and then they put it together in this big kind of almost like I don't want to say a cake. It's kind of more like a meatloaf kind of thing, and then they slice it up. I think they slice it up and they'll fry it. So, sometimes they deep fry it, sometimes they broil it, but lots of times, most of the time, they'll like pan fry it or something, and they'll serve it up. And they'll serve it up with a lot of little different condiments and things like that. But I have never tried it myself, but I have watched other people eat it. It's a big deal. In Pennsylvania, because that's basically where it originated. It originated in Pennsylvania, and the Pennsylvania Dutch basically brought this over. Apparently, I think it's even older than that. I think they had a version of it in Germany and over in Europe, but the Pennsylvania Dutch had this, and they kind of refined it somewhat for Pennsylvanians. And it's sort of like, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of a slice of Spam, I guess. All fried Spam. If you can imagine fried Spam, it's basically, in my opinion, I have never tried it, but that's basically what Scrapple looks like to me, with some other junk on it, some other food on it, because they'll put other stuff on it, or they'll mix it with other foods. But that's Scrapple. Anyway, tomorrow, is it tomorrow? No, it's today. Today is National Scrapple Day. So if you are from Pennsylvania, and my friend Mike Smith from Mike Tech Show, he was in here a couple of weeks ago. He's from Pennsylvania, so he knows. He's from Philly, so he knows what Scrapple is. I'm sure. I'm sure he's probably had it quite a bit. But here's to National Scrapple Day. If you like Scrapple, if that's your thing. We have National Louisiana Day. Should we do that? Okay, we'll toast National Louisiana Day. Okay, yeah. Well, all right. We'll toast National. It's one of the 50 states, one of the 50 great states of the United States. We'll toast National Louisiana Day. Now, Chi and I watch NCIS New Orleans. Now, it really doesn't. I mean, they try to bring the flavor of New Orleans into it, but let's face it, most of all those shows, at least as far as I know, are shot in Hollywood or shot in Southern California somewhere. Probably don't have a whole lot to do with, except a few on-location things they do. Probably don't actually shoot it. I don't think so. In Nolans, is it called? But they try to bring in some of the flavor of that into the show. And I think one of the main characters from that show that was there since the beginning of the show, I think played by Lucas Black, he played the character LaSalle on the show. They killed him off this past week. They killed the character off because he's leaving the show. And a lot of people, I mean, it's a big Twitter thing. A lot of people are up in arms about it. They were shocked. They weren't expecting it. Very unhappy. It surprised Chi and me a little bit, But yeah, the show will go on. It'll go on. They've lost a few characters from the show over the years, so it'll go on. But it's just something we watch sometimes. Actually, okay, we watch it almost religiously every Tuesday night. It's one of our little indulgences, something where she and I can have a little together time and just watch NCIS New Orleans together. I don't even know how we got off on that, but the National Louisiana Day. Let's get back to the national days. Any comments from the chat, first of all? Jonathan says, big LSU win for Louisiana Day. Well, yeah, that's that. No, well, how about, yep. Congratulations. Happy Louisiana Day. I'm not a big LSU person. I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not really a football fanatic per se. Definitely not college football, but or basketball in that regard. Most of those sports, but I do keep up with the Panthers. I do watch the Panthers because that's what you're supposed to do when you live in Charlotte. You keep up with the home teams, right? The Panthers, the Hornets. I was a big Magic fan when I lived in Florida. I was a big Magic fan, and that was back in the days. Oh wow, kind of the golden years of what I call the golden years, back with Shaq and Penny Hardaway and that was going pretty way back. But when we left Florida, I still kept up. I still watched the Magic games. I still kept up with the Magic somewhat for a while after we left Florida, but. It's funny when you go to another city, people kind of expect you to shift your loyalties to what is now your home team. So I've kind of had to. Yeah, I never was a really big Hornets fan myself, but I root for the Hornets sometimes, every once in a while, and of course the Panthers. I mean, Panthers are having a pretty decent year this year so far. So that it's something worth keeping up. I was watching the game last week, and it was a pretty good game. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole with sports right now because this isn't really about sports. This is about drinking wine and other things and national days. So Jonathan, are you an LSU fan? Are you? And Gina has joined us in the chat. Gina, it's great to see you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm always glad to see you here. I'm glad to see all of you here in the chat. And join in. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me what you're not drinking, or what you like to be drinking, or would you like to see me drinking or not drinking? Gina, I hope you're doing all right. I just want to make sure you're okay. Gina, here's to you. I just want to I'm not going to say why or what unless Gina volunteers. She wants to say anything. But I just want to say that I love my sister, and I want to say that I love both my sisters, okay, in case Penny shows up there too. I don't want to leave anyone out. But so I just want to say here's to you, Gina. I'm thinking about you. And Gina says drinking broth. Okay, what kind of broth? Is it beef broth, chicken broth? What kind of broth? But it's okay. It's okay. Drink broth. That's good. Broth is good for you too. Broth is good for you too. And also it depends on what you put into it, then that can make it better. But drink the broth. And once again, here's to you. Jonathan says, no, just don't like Alabama. She's not an LSU fan, but better than Alabama. Okay. I'll go with that. I'll drink to that. So, where were we going with this? Oh, yes, the national days. And Gina, since you just joined us, for those who just joined us, we're drinking the Napa Valley Quilt. Gina's from the state of California. She's on the West Coast, so she knows Napa Valley pretty well. And I'm pretty sure you've had a lot of Napa Valley wines in your day. I don't know if you ever had this one. Have you ever had the Napa Valley Quilt? Let me give you a closer, whoops, wrong shot. There we go. Closer shot of this. This is called the Fabric of the Land, and this is a red blend with Petit Syrah, Merlot, Zinfandel, and Petit Verdot. And you know what? I can taste a hint of the effects of the Verdot because the Verdot wine is it's. I can taste a little bit of it in there, and I mentioned that at the very beginning that I said I was going to see how much of that was in there, because usually they don't, you don't want to put too much. They don't want to put too much into the blend. That's why they don't usually make too many wines that are just pure Petit Verdot. They blend them in with other wines, and to accentuate some certain attributes of those wines. But I think the rule of thumb is that most of them don't like to put more than 10%, I think, from what I've heard, of a Petit Verdot into a wine blend, because that can actually have actually kind of negatively affect the wine. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. I don't know, but I don't know how much of the Verdot's in here. By the way, Petit Verdot is French for Petit being like petite, small, little, and Verdot from Verde, green. So it's a little green thing, or a little green one, or a green little thing, referring to the grape. And that's what that means. That's where the name came from. Learned something tonight, huh? So did I. But that's what we do. That's what this wine stream is about, right? And mostly it's about having fun. So Gina says, beef tonight. How's the wine? Okay, so you have a beef broth, which is good for you. Chicken broth is good too, but beef broth is good. How's the wine? The wine is really good. Actually, it's some hints. I'll tell you what. It wasn't really a strong aroma right off the bat. There was some blackberry in it. I could smell a little oakiness to it. I did pick up that smell a little bit, but mostly it was in the taste. There's some black cherry. There's a little hint of dark chocolate in it. I want to say, or maybe a cocoa of some sort. It's also, it has mild tannins in it. I'll say that much. The tannins are okay, and they actually help accentuate some of the foods that I've tried. Like we tried the smoked cheese, which, by the way, is not Pepperidge Farm. It's the other farm. I get them all mixed up all the time. Those farms. What is it again? It's Hickory Farms. Hickory Farms. Thank you, Chi. But I don't think the farm's that important. If it tastes good, I'll eat it. Anyway, so and the Gouda, it actually went okay with the Gouda that I had from Trader Joe's, the double cream Gouda, but I think I like it a lot better with the smoked cheddar from Hickory Farms. And she made a nice lasagna. I didn't actually try it with the lasagna, did I? And it's getting a little cold here, so I don't know if it's going to go well with the lasagna. Now, the reason I had the lasagna in the mix, one, because I could, and the other, and we could try it now, actually, with my left hand. Yeah. It's okay. It's good, and I expected that to happen because of the Zin and the Merlot blend in here. Merlots and Zinfandels, they generally go pretty good with pastas, tomato sauce, things like that. So Zins, you can pair Zins with a lot of different wines, as we discussed a few wine streams back. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good pairing. And of course, I had the porterhouse steak that she made for me. Tried it with that, and it worked pretty well with that. I like that, and I think the fact that it was somewhat tannic actually helped. It's not real tannic, but it's okay. Let's see. So Gina says not yet. How is it? No, the wine's good. I like the wine. It's pretty good. Now I have heard. I had looked around online, and there were some people who didn't care for it as much as some other blends. I happen to like this. I actually tasted it. I picked this up at a wine store. Once again, I went to Blakeney, the wine store in Blakeney, North Carolina, up here down the road from us on Thursday. Actually looking for some to stock up on some other wines that I drank during the week that I had planned on saving, but I wound up drinking them, and then I just went down there to kind of replenish my the empty spots for them in my wine fridge. And then I had seen this a number of times. I've been in there a number of times and seen it, but I had never really tried it, and I think they gave me a slight tasting of it, and I thought, oh, this is good. I'm going to have to try this. So I bought a bottle. And this bottle goes for about $39, I think, $39.99, about $40 online, all the way down to about $23, $24, I think we were saying earlier. But I picked mine up, as a matter of fact, I still have the receipt here. I picked mine up for $19.99 there. So I think I got a pretty good buy. Definitely worth the $19.99 price, I think, for this wine. This is not a wine that I would really drink alone by myself, just open it up and drink it, and nobody else. Of course, what am I doing here, right? I'm not alone. You're with me. You're with me, so I'm not drinking alone. So it's definitely worth it. So I can, right? But what I mean to say is this is not really a wine that I would just drink by myself, because I like this wine. This is a wine that I would really prefer to serve at a dinner party, to serve with guests. If we're going to have, let's say, if you're going to serve a lamb, as I mentioned earlier, I love lamb, or a steak. I think this would go pretty well with some smoked meats. I think this would be okay with smoked meats. Definitely the smoked cheese, I think, is good. But for a dinner party, I think this is a really good wine to serve. And I would definitely recommend it for, say, for instance, if you're having people over for dinner, especially people that, old friends over for dinner that you haven't seen for a while, that you'd like to catch up on. And I think this is a good wine to serve with a good meal for them. And I would serve it with a meal or with hors d'oeuvres or finger foods. I wouldn't just drink it by itself. I think it really deserves to have a good pairing with some other food. So that's just my thought on it. But you could drink it by yourself if you want to, if you have to. But with a date, this is good with a date. Phil, you still there? You still listening to me? You want to impress a good date? This is probably good wine for that. A nice dinner. Make a nice dinner at home. Maybe make a nice, I don't know. Maybe steak and potatoes dinner. Or a nice lasagna, or maybe a ziti or something like that, and serve this with it. I think it would go just fine with that. Go very well. Impress the date. I think it'd be all right. So Courtney said, Jonathan says usually adds lots of tannins. I'm not really sure what the context of that was, but it is somewhat tannic. This wine is. Courtney says, so is this an invite to your house, Rick? Well, Courtney, you know what? Sure, why not? And we have to have We have to have more parties at our house. We don't have that many parties. Oh, wait a minute. My wife's still here. Hi, G. Okay. Because what happens is that a lot of the party planning falls on Chi, and um, I think if she had more help in the kitchen, hint hint, meaning me and the kids, then she would be more inclined to have more people over more often for parties. But because she's usually doing everything by herself, now to be fair, I try to stay out of the kitchen when she's in there because she will say, "Get out of my kitchen," while she's working. Because look, my wife she isn't just she isn't just someone who cooks meals. She is a chef of sorts. I want to call her a master chef in our house, because she's creating. She isn't just cooking food. She's in there creating things, and she spends a lot of time in her kitchen creating things. And she's created a lot of wonderful things. She continues to do so, and she thinks she's an amazing cook. She's an amazing chef, I should say. The thing is, though, with her kitchen, we have kind of a small kitchen, smaller than I think that she deserves, because I think for what she does, for a lot of things that she experiments with, and for a lot of things that she bakes and cooks, and a lot of her own recipes that she comes up with, I think she deserves a much better kitchen than what she has. If I could afford it, I would definitely create one for her. Maybe someday I can. That's one of the things I have on my bucket list, is to basically give her the kitchen that she deserves. For a place to create a blank canvas for her to perfect her art of cooking, and cooking as an art. And she has so much talent. She has a lot of talents, my wife does, but she has so many talents for cooking that I think that she needs a better space than what she has right now to do what she would like to do. And maybe someday, that's one of my hopes, that maybe someday I can give that to her. I don't know, but it would be cool. It would be really cool. Anyway, I got off on another tangent there, right? So, anyway, when she's down in the kitchen cooking, I try to stay out of the way as much as possible. I've learned the hard way over the years. We've been married for 25, almost 26 years, and I've learned to stay out of her way the hard way when she's in the kitchen creating, not cooking, creating. Because when I get in her way, she can't, that doesn't usually turn out well for me anyway. So I try to stay out of the kitchen. Now, you know what? There have been some times when she and I have cooked some things together, and we'll get up sometimes. We'll make a breakfast together, and that's pretty cool. I enjoy doing that because it's the two of us just having some early morning time, just in the kitchen, teamwork, making breakfast together. It's kind of cool. I like that. But for the most part, I try to stay out of her way. So if we're going to have a party or something, that's a little problematic, because as small as the kitchen is, her kitchen area is, and you can't usually get more than a couple people in there working at the same time. If you're going to have a party, it means that she has to do a lot of the work herself, and it's not really fair to her. So, where was it going with that? I don't know. Gina says, Courtney says she seems like a great cook. She is, and I have showcased a lot of her foods here. We've paired a lot of the foods that I've paired here are foods that she's prepared, and as a matter of fact, she has prepared some of these foods just for this wine stream. Last week, I think she did one. What was it she prepared last week? She made the lamb. She made the lamb for me specifically for the wine stream to pair with the wine that we had. What did we have last week? It was the man. Because I did a little research and I said, well, this pinotage is supposed to go okay with lamb. So she says, well, I'll cook some lamb for you. And she just happened to have some in the fridge. That's my wife. Something else about she is that I'm the kind of person where I go down the kitchen and I have to make something. I've told the story many times in other places, but I have to have everything there. If I open the fridge or the pantry and everything isn't there, I can't make it. It's just like, oh man, this isn't going to turn right. I can't do this. She, on the other hand, she can go down into the kitchen and we can have like 4 or 5 items in the fridge, a stale loaf of bread here, whatever there, just a few little things here and there, and she can whip up something that's just amazing. She can just whip it up together, and it's something really, really good. Just from items, I can't do that. I mean, I have to have everything. If I don't have everything that I need to make a certain specific dish, then it's not going to happen. But she can go down there and she improvises. She can just go down there and improvise, and she's just amazing that way. She really is. Gina says sounds nice, and she says thank you. You're welcome. Look, it's well deserved. It's well deserved because my wife, she is an amazing cook, chef, creator. So anyway, I got way off on tangents here, and we're coming close to the end of this stream pretty soon. Let me check and see if we have anyone else in the chat here tonight. No one on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube. We have people watching on YouTube though. Thanks for watching, appreciate it. But Facebook's where it's happening. So go back to the national days for a minute, because there are a couple of national days that we definitely need to toast, and I think we should all toast them together because it's just cool. It's just because we can. Where have we got the national days? Here we go. November 10th. That's tomorrow. It's almost going to be today. Marine Corps birthday. The birthday of the Marine Corps, the U.S. Marine Corps, and I will definitely drink to that. To our men in the Marines, our servicemen and women, those who serve in the armed forces, and particularly the Marines. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps and to all of our Marines and to all of our service members of our armed forces, men and women who are serving everywhere around the world. And some particularly tough places in the world. Here's to you as well. And let's wishing that you return home safely, safe and sound, and to your families as well. National Forget-Me-Not Day also is tomorrow. I didn't want to forget that. So National Forget-Me-Not Day. And of course, if I have enough of this wine, I'll probably forget I ever toasted it. Here's to Forget-Me-Not Day. Okay, I have to toast this one because just reminded me of a little posting that my sister Gina made the other day. National Vanilla Cupcake Day. Here's to vanilla cupcakes. I love vanilla cupcakes. I love chocolate cupcakes. I love lemon cupcakes and strawberry flavored cupcakes, and I love cupcakes. I like cake. How did that go, Gina? You posted something about cake, and that caught my attention just because it had the word cake in it. That caught my attention. And anyway, so I'm not going to go too far down in there, but you know what? I do have to show one thing because I picked this up today. There's where is it? It's right here. I had some cake today. Yes, I did. I had some cake today. I had this cake. I had a Claxton fruit cake. An old-fashioned fruit cake. And no, it wasn't old. It was old-fashioned, but it wasn't old. I checked the expiration date, and it's still good till, I think it was February this coming year, February 2020. But yeah, I did have a slice. I saw this fruitcake. She had purchased this fruitcake yesterday, and I said, okay, I just had a recent discussion with a couple of people on Facebook. For some reason, this time of the year, fruitcake always seems to come up as a topic of discussion. I wonder why. But I know why. But but she bought one yesterday. I think it cost her what would it cost you, $5 or something for this little bar of fruitcake? Let's face it, fruitcake is something that you either love or you hate, and a lot of people hate. I've had fruitcake before, and it's not something I have very often because usually it's not something that I buy to keep around the house very often to have. I mean, why do I want to buy a fruitcake if I'm going to have a little slice? Now, yes, every once in a while, every 4 or 5 years, somebody will buy a fruitcake, and I'll have a little slice of it. And that's what I've had. That's my slice of fruitcake. Do you know how many calories are in a fruitcake? I was looking at this, and that a quarter fruitcake has something like 450 calories in it, something along those lines. I think it was this one did anyway. 450 calories in a slice of fruit. Now, they consider a serving of fruitcake 1/4 of this fruitcake that's here. 1/4 of this bar is considered a serving of fruitcake. Okay, so I'm going to ask everyone here in the chat. All right, first of all, how many of you have had a fruitcake or have actually eaten? I know everybody gets a fruitcake, okay, but how many of you have actually eaten a fruitcake in the last few years? And of those who've eaten a fruitcake, how many of you have had a quarter of that fruitcake? Now, I know fruitcakes are different; they come in different sizes and shapes and all that kind of stuff. But I can't say a quarter of a fruitcake is a really fair volume to go by. But the fruitcake that's in that photo that I just showed you, a quarter of that's a pretty fair amount of fruitcake. I cannot eat more than a thin slice of fruitcake. First of all, it's I don't know. It's heavy. Fruitcakes are heavy, and I mean that. It's not just because of the weight, of the fruitcake itself. It's just that they sit in your stomach kind of heavy. At least they do for me. So I can't eat a whole lot of fruitcake. I'll eat a little bit of fruitcake. I'll have a little slice every once in a while, but I can't, out of curiosity and out of the sense that, hey, there's a fruitcake, I probably should have a slice. But look, if I had my choice between a fruitcake and say a lemon cream bundt cake, I'll go for the lemon cream bundt cake every time. We have a place down here in Charlotte. I don't know if they're all over the country. I guess it's kind of a chain. It's Nothing Bundt Cakes. Nothing Bundt Cakes. Those things are to die for. Those things are awesome, and I love those. They're very rich. They're expensive, but they're really, really good. And if I had my choice between one of those and say one of these Claxton cakes, I think this would lose. This fruitcake would lose every time. There's some people that keep fruitcakes around and they never eat them, but they just keep them around, or they'll pass them along to someone else and say, here's a gift and a fruitcake. And I think the same fruitcake get passed from person to person. You'll wind up with a fruitcake that's 10 years old. It's just been passed along. Nobody's ever eaten it because they keep passing it or regifting it. I guess they should say. I guess that's what the word is. But okay, I like fruitcakes okay if it's in very, very small amounts and every once in a while if I don't have to eat it very often. But there's a lot of junk in fruitcake there's a lot of stuff in fruitcake that I don't like, that they'll put in some fruitcakes that I'm not crazy about. So does anyone ever eat a fruitcake? So some people like them. Some people like them. They'll eat fruitcakes. But would you eat? The first question was, have you had a fruitcake lately? The second question is, this is a two-part question, is would you eat a quarter of this fruitcake here, the fruitcake bar that I have? I mean, this is a 16-ounce, 1-pound bar of fruitcake. Would you eat a quarter of that? That's the question. Would you eat a quarter of that fruitcake? Because according to the label on that fruitcake, that is a serving size. 450 calories, that's a serving size. 4 servings in that fruitcake. Personally, I couldn't. I had a slice, and then we opened the thing up, and then she she says, oh, I got to try a slice. I have to try a slice. So I cut her a little piece, and that's all she wanted. It was just a little slice about, I don't know, about the width of my finger. And that's all I had. I had about a slice the width of my finger. Now I have fat fingers, okay? But it was about the width of a finger. That's not the middle one, by the way. Just so you know. And that was about all I could eat of that fruitcake. So Courtney says, thumbs down on the fruitcake. Like you said, seems like a good re-gift from my brother-in-law. Okay, you know what? Thumbs down on fruitcake. Okay, Courtney, so I'll say Courtney does not like fruitcake. You don't eat fruitcake at all. Gina says the British fruitcakes with marzipan and rolled icing are really nice. That would be fine, except I don't think I've ever marzipan and fruitcake. I've heard of British fruitcakes with marzipan in them, but I don't think I've ever really tried one. I mean, most of the fruitcakes we have look like this that I've gotten. Look like that, and that's my experience with fruitcake. But British fruitcakes, I wouldn't mind trying it. I would try it. I would try it once and see how it tastes. If it has marzipan in it, rolled icing, I could. You know what? I think every fruitcake needs some kind of icing on it. That's just me. Now, Cheese probably laughing because she that's one of my taglines. That's one of my taglines. She makes something. She'll make a. As a matter of fact, she did just the other day. She made a really, really nice pumpkin bread. And, of course, the first thing I said when I saw the pumpkin bread, yeah, it smells great, looks nice, needs icing. And she just gave me the look, you know what I mean? The look. Like it was already perfect, doesn't need icing. But that's my tagline. Is every time she bakes something like a cinnamon muffin or something, I'll say, yeah, it looks great. Just needs icing. That's all. Just needs icing. I love icing. Yeah, come on. But well, icing on a fruitcake, I don't know. But if it's a British fruitcake, I would try it. I would try it once. It might grow on me. Gina says, but I don't like the ones like the one you showed. Okay, so you would not eat that one, right, Gina? You would not eat that fruitcake. Too late for us because we already ate some of it, but not very much. I can tell you almost for a fact that fruitcake, the one that I just showed you, is we had a little slice on the end. I had a slice. She had a slice. I don't know if the kids will eat it because they I don't know. I think I offered Tia a piece, I think, and she turned it down. But I can tell you that fruitcake is probably going to sit there until it goes bad, and we probably won't eat any more of it. It's probably just going to sit up there on the counter, and then one day we'll just kind of throw it out when it's, I mean, the dog won't eat it, I'm sure. But anyway, Gina says it doesn't have all that candy junk. Okay, it's interesting that you use the word junk in it. That's a very interesting choice of words. Gina says nope, nope. You wouldn't have. Okay, so the British one does not have all the candied junk in it. Okay, so I'll concur with you on that as far as the term goes, the junk. All the candied stuff in there, I think. It's what gives the, can I call it the American fruitcake? I don't know. I don't know if the British fruitcakes are different, apparently. But this fruitcake, with all the candied junk in it, it's I don't think it really needs all that stuff in it. I mean, it's first of all, what I don't like. Actually, I could deal with the candied fruit, the candied junk, somewhat. Not in large amounts, not in very copious amounts, but just maybe just small amounts. And I think that's part of it right there. I think it's that the candied stuff in there. It's too sweet, I guess, and it's too chewy for me, I guess. But I think with the nuts, because this one has some nuts in it, I think it had walnuts in it. I think it had some, and I like walnuts. I like walnuts. I like to eat walnuts by themselves. I just don't like them in other foods too much. And I take there's an exception to that. Okay, the exception would be maybe with one or two different desserts, maybe a Greek dessert of some sort. But I'm talking about baklava. I do like walnuts. I do like baklava, but the walnuts and some other foods and almonds. I'm not a big fan of almonds. I opened up a energy bar the other day and had almonds in it. It was okay until I hit the almond, and then I'm like, I'm not eating this anymore, and tossed it. But Alex has joined us in the chat. Alex, my friend Alex, it's great to see you. Alex and Tommy went to school together, and Alex is he's been up at Appalachian State University, and he gave us the grand tour. This is the Alex that I told you about earlier. If you don't mind, Alex. The young man I told you, a fine young man, who gave us, and we've known him for many, many years. We've been friends with his family for many years. He was up at Appalachian State, and when we went up there earlier this year, right on Free Comic Book Day weekend, actually, as a matter of fact, he is the one who gave us the grand tour through Appalachian. And he did a great job. He did a fabulous job. He put up with a lot of my really bad dad jokes. Didn't you, Alex? Put up with a lot of my really bad dad jokes, because that's what I'm known for. And he did a fine job. And we had a great tour of Appalachian. And that was where we went when we did for Free Comic Book Day. We went up there for the weekend, and Tommy and his friend Nick were up there, and we did some live episodes of the Free Stuff Show podcast, and this is live, the Free Stuff Show podcast, and Tommy's and Nick's podcast, Cube Command. We did that live at their library there, and we had a great time. But Alex was an excellent host. He showed us around. Told us everything about Appalachian State. Tommy's thinking about going there this next year, and we were all really impressed with the campus. It was really nice. Appalachian is located up in the Boone area, in Boone, North Carolina, Boone, Blowing Rock. Now, Gina, I was thinking about this earlier today. You probably remember this as well. My earliest memories of going up to Boone, I haven't had enough of this, have I? Boone and Blowing Rock, particularly Blowing Rock, Tweetsie Railroad. You remember Tweetsie Railroad? I hope you say yes, because that's an early memory for me. When we lived in Salisbury when we were kids, and I think we went up there, I don't know, I want to say we went up there a couple of times, but I know we went up there at least once. Took a family day trip up to Blowing Rock, and went to Tweetsie Railroad. And at the time, that was back in the 60s, mid-60s. At the time, 1960s. At the time, there was a local show on the local channel I don't remember which station it was on. Maybe it was WBT or somewhere in Charlotte, called Fred Kirby. And it was one of those kids shows, Saturday or weekday morning kids shows. And Fred Kirby was kind of like the local celebrity for the kids there. And he would, on the weekends, he would be there performing at the, they had like a Wild West kind of show going on there. You take the train. Tweetsie was a train. You get on the train and they do this whole thing where they take you on a tour around the mountain, and then they stop the train and they'd have the Indians board it, and then have a bank robbers get on the train, and they did this whole skit, and they'd have a shootout with the bank robbers and cowboys and Indians kind of stuff back in the day. And Fred Kirby was that played the white hat cowboy, good guy who would go in there and save the day. And I didn't mean to go off on this tangent, but it brings back some fond memories of that. Anyway, we went up to Tweetsie Railroad. I don't know where I was going with any of that. We went up to Tweetsie Railroad that one time, and we spent the day at Tweetsie, but then it rained. And we were going to go to Grandfather Mountain. Gina, I don't know if you recall Grandfather Mountain. We went up there to go to Grandfather Mountain, and it rained so bad, so we couldn't really see much of anything that was going on. And I think we had to turn around at that point and come back. But I remember that, I just remember that day, because I think we stopped and we ate at the restaurant there around Grandfather Mountain, and it was just raining, and it was just kind of crummy at that point. And there was really nothing more to see, and then we kind of headed back. But that was one of the family outings that I remember, that I have a memory of. But it was still a pretty good memory, and we had a lot of fun there when we were kids. Gordon has joined us in the chat. It's great to see you, Gordon. Thanks for joining us. And how are you doing? And I've missed the last video that you did. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. But of course, Gordon is our resident in the podcast community, is our expert on law, entertainment law, and helps podcasters out with legal questions and legal issues regarding podcasting, podcast industry, YouTubing, that sort of thing. But it's good to see you, Gordon. And tell me what you're drinking. Tell me what you're up to. I'd like to know. Well, once again, we're drinking the 2017 Quilt, Napa Valley Quilt, the fabric of the land. And that's actually what it's called. It's called the fabric of the land. That's, it's a long name, but it is a blend. It's a blend of a Petit Syrah Merlot, Zin, and a, what is it? It was a Petit Verdot. I had to go look at it again. But anyway, it's a pretty good wine, and I recommend it. We're coming up on the close of the stream here tonight. There was actually one other thing I wanted to mention, and we didn't even finish the National Day, so that's how far off track I went. And before we go, there is one National Day that I would like to mention, or two of them actually. One is National Sunday Day, which is November 11th. That's actually on a Monday, but it's National Sunday Day. And then Sunday is Sundae. We're talking about the ice cream sundae variety, which I like sundaes. I used to make them. National Sunday Day. When I worked at Disney World in Orlando years and years ago, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I worked in a place called the Veranda Restaurant. It was part of the Borden Ice Cream Cone Shop, and the Sara Lee Bakery. It was kind of a three-tiered restaurant there, three-part restaurant. And I worked, and I used to make the ice cream sundaes there. I made a lot of ice cream sundaes, thousands of them. And I tell you what, by the time I left that job, I could not eat ice cream for a long time. I was so sick of ice cream. I was so sick of it. I'd get it all. I'd go home at night and it'd be all over my arms. I'd smell like ice cream. It was just, I couldn't eat ice cream for a long, long time after that. I love ice cream, but it just working with it for 8, 9 hours a day, every day, scooping thousands of cones. I mean, literally thousands of cones a day, and at least hundreds a day. And I'd say it seemed like thousands, but we've had thousands of people come in there every day, so it's quite possible I did. Ice cream sundaes, banana splits, the whole bit. Doing that for a while, I sort of got sick of ice cream, Anyway, so that was National Sunday Day, and the other one I want to say is National Veterans Day. I want to toast our veterans this National Veterans Day. Here's to all of our veterans, who, in my personal opinion, really don't take care of our veterans like we should. Now, my dad was a veteran. He served in the Navy, and when he passed away a few years ago, he was given, he was given some honors for that, for his service, and I salute all of our veterans. I tell you what, those who and those who are serving now, is I toasted them earlier. I'll toast them again for the Marine birthday of the Marine Corps. Here's to our veterans on Veterans Day. Some of our veterans came back whole. Some of them did not come back whole, and even those who came back in whole physically didn't always come back in whole spiritually, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. I've never served in a war myself, but I understand that war does that to you, and even in peacetime, it's very taxing. So here's to all of our veterans. Thank you for your service for Veterans Day. Don't forget our veterans, please. So I think we'll end on the national days, because I think we're about halfway down the bottle now, and I think that's about the time I want to cap this and say goodnight for the wine. The reason is because I like to do things in moderation. I don't like to overdo things, and that's really the best way to do it. Let's see. Oh wait, we have someone else in the chat. Tom Antio is in the chat. Tom Antio, for those of you who don't know, is my son Tommy, and he says, "Hi Dad, how's the wine?" He says, "I didn't know what that thing was in the pantry. Is that it?" I'm not sure what he's referring to. It might be referring to the fruitcake. And I'll show that one more time, just because it's there. I got to do something with this photograph. That's it. But Tom, thank you very, very much for joining me in the chat. I know he watches me on the stream anyway all the time. That's my son, and he is a veteran podcaster in his own right. He is, I'm one of what they consider the OGs, the old guys in podcasting. Been doing it for over 13 years. Tommy has been doing it for almost 10. So he's a second generation podcaster, and almost an OG in his own right, I would say. But he does his current show, Cube Command, and also, of course, he does his show with me, the Free Stuff Show. And I think he has a couple other projects that he has in the pipeline, things that he's working on, and he's a YouTuber in his own right. So Tommy, here's to you. This is my son. Anyway, there was one other thing I wanted. It's getting late. I'm going to have to cut this short, but there is one thing I want to mention. We've had. I know there's been a request the last couple of weeks in the wine stream. It's not here tonight, by the way, but one of our viewers here, particularly on YouTube, has suggested that have you tried taking this the Drink with Rick show as an ASMR? And the first time that was mentioned, that was a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking, okay, well, it could be interesting. I'll try. I'll check it out. And they brought it up again. Here's the thing, and for those of you who don't know what ASMR is, and I probably should have explained it a couple of weeks ago, it's just because it was just in passing that it was mentioned and I read it, and I apologize for that. I really should have elaborated on what we were talking about in the chat there. What ASMR is, it's an acronym. It stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And what that means is, and I don't know if you've seen these, but you may have seen, there was a big deal about a certain commercial for, I think it was a beer last year about this time, where they had, the woman pours the beer really, really slowly, really close to the microphone, and it's whispering, and it's trying to really heighten the senses, so to speak, as far as the taste and sound of the beer, or the sound of the beer is concerned, about the sound of her voice being very, very close to the microphone. That is Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, or ASMR. And there's actually a subset of people online that are really, really into these ASMR videos. There are a lot of videos that are on YouTube on this. There are a lot of people. I think there are a few podcasts out there that cover that, but I think mostly it's video related. But making use of all of your sensory, your sight and your ears, sight and sound, and what this individual in the chat was suggesting is that I take this Drink with Rick wine stream and make it into an ASMR video, and something that I'm kind of, like I said, I was trying not to really go into anything on that last week, but or the last couple of weeks. But it was something that when it was first brought up, it never actually occurred to me. It didn't actually until it was brought up a couple of weeks ago, and then I thought, well, I don't know, something I'll think about, and I continue to think about it. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know if I really want to go do that or not. But I'll tell you what, I think there's something to be said for something. There are a lot of people that are really really into that, and I think one reason is because you hear the pouring of the wine like that, and you hear me chewing on food. And that was why it was brought up, because you could hear me chewing on the food, and pouring the wine, and sipping the wine like that. It sort of lends itself, it naturally lends itself to be an ASMR video, especially this close to the microphone. Now, obviously, I'm not whispering into the microphone. I could do that, but I'm not doing that right now. Oh, okay, I am doing that right now. But that's not what I generally do on the wine stream. I'm generally somewhat boisterous, and I'm speaking from my diaphragm, so to speak, because that was the way I was taught in drama class back in the day. That's how you speak, and also on air, and also through the microphone. You speak from your diaphragm, and you put something into it. So I'm not really used to whispering in front of the microphone unless I'm doing something specifically for some sort of voice, for an effect, for a voiceover, a VO that I'm doing for someone else, which I haven't done one of those for quite a while. I haven't had a call for anybody to say, hey, whisper into the microphone. But that's an interesting concept, though. The fact that here I am pouring wine and drinking wine and eating food and right here in front of the microphone. Yeah, I mean, it would be an interesting thing to try. It's just I'm still a little bit torn about. I don't know that, there's some of these videos that are like an hour and a half to 2 hours long, from what I understand. I haven't watched any of them, but that are of various activities, audio activities, where people are doing things that. No, I'm digressing a little bit. What as far as ASMR, it's like, what's the big deal with ASMR? ASMR. All right, what the deal is with ASMR is that there are a lot of people, not everyone supposedly, but a lot of people are prone to be able to pick up on ASMR the effects of ASMR. And if you don't know what ASMR really is, it's basically the ability to be able to pick up on certain sounds like this, and have it deliver a certain effect to you physically. More specifically, it causes a spine tingling or a tingling in the head, or some sort of pleasant sensation, physical sensation. Not really sexual thing, but it's more of a pleasant physical sensation on the body that it has that effect on. And when people are speaking softly like this, and drinking or doing whatever they're doing, that's it causes some people to have a reaction, a physical reaction, a sensory reaction. And a lot of people are really into that. So there are a lot of videos online, and some podcasts, I should say, probably. I don't know. I haven't heard any of them, but I've seen a couple of the videos where and basically what you do is you want to listen to it in headphones, because you want to have that full effect of ASMR. And they'll listen to them in headphones, and then it really, really creates a sensation, an actual physical sensation that affects you. I'm not sure that wasn't my goal of the wine stream, but I'm not sure I really want to go in that direction yet. I'm not. I don't know. It's something that it'd be interesting to experiment with once or twice, just to see where that could go. But apparently there is a big following of people that are really into those videos and into that kind of thing. Now, I will say that not everyone is affected by ASMR. Some people, it doesn't really affect them much at all, from what I hear. But I'm one of those people where that's affected. And I can tell you that because my first real experience with an ASMR kind of thing was Disney. Disney did this years and years and years ago, and I think it was at Epcot that they did this. I don't remember actually which theme park it was, but I remember going to one of the theme parks, and they had this attraction where you could go in. What they did is they put you in a booth and set you down, and there were speakers behind you on either side of you right here. And it was just a stereo, but they sit you down in this booth, in the seat, and they would close the door, and you would be complete darkness in this booth, and all you had were just the speakers there behind you on either side of you, and then they play this tape, they play this recording. And the whole purpose of the recording was to give you that effect that with complete darkness there, that you could actually almost visualize what was happening, and you could sense and feel everything that was happening around you. And you'd have people, you'd have some parts of the recording where someone would come up to you, and almost it was as if they were really whispering in one ear something, and you could almost feel the breath, their breath, hitting your ear when they would do that. You feel the vibrations. You could, they would do certain other things, and you could almost sense that. You could almost feel that was actually happening. You could sense that it was there. Now, I don't really remember. It was a long time ago. I know that they probably took that down. I don't even remember what the attraction was. It was one of the, I think it was at Epcot somewhere. And I did it a couple of times, and I was really, really impressed with it. It was a little freaky. It really was. It was a little freaky being in there doing that, but it was a very, very powerful effect, and it was all done with audio. And that was actually an autonomous sensory meridian response kind of thing. It was an ASMR audio thing that they were doing. So Disney was doing this a long time ago at their theme parks, and that was actually the first time that I had ever really, and I didn't even really know what they called it at the time, but that was the first time that I had experienced that. It was very, very interesting, a little unnerving actually. It's a little weird, but it was kind of fun. Now they've got all these videos out there, and you put on the headsets and you do that, and it's basically the same effect. Now, whether I would try this, whether I'm ready to try something like that, I don't know. But I'm bringing it up because I thought it was because it was brought up in the last two wine streams, and I said, I would look into that. I would address it, and yeah, I did. So I'm still thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so I rambled on with that, and it's about time to end this stream. It's about time to go. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Once again, we have been tasting the Quilt, the 2017 Quilt Napa Valley Red Wine. It's called Land of the Lost. No, Fabric. The Fabric of the Lamb. Fabric of the Land. Not lamb. Land. I did that again, didn't I? And this is a combination of a Petit Syrah, Merlot, Zinfandel, and a Petit Verdot. It's an actually pretty decent wine. I would pair this with, definitely pair this with the cheese that I had earlier. The Hickory Farms, not Pepperidge Farms, Hickory Farms. You could probably have with a Pepperidge. The cookies. I love those cookies. They put a few pounds on me over the years. The Hickory Farms smoked cheddar. The Gouda is good. I like the smoked cheddar better. It goes well with a lasagna. It goes well with it goes okay with a porterhouse steak. So probably smokier meats would probably be better with smokier meats. But in any case, it's actually a decent wine. And $19.95 from a wine store, but I've priced it out at $29 to $39 at a lot of other places online, so you could check it out there. I wouldn't pay $40 for a bottle of wine like this. $20, I'd probably cap it out at $20. Okay, maybe $25. But this is a decent wine to serve at gatherings. I think it would be a decent wine to serve if you have friends over, and you want to show them a good time. This is good wine for that. Serve it with meal, serve it with hors d'oeuvres or other things. I don't know if I'd serve it by itself, because I think this is a pretty good wine. But I think it needs to be paired with something. I think it does. That's just my personal take on it. I wouldn't drink it by itself. Pair it with something. Anyway, I want to thank you for being with me tonight. I want to thank you for showing up. I want to thank, let me go up to the top of the list here, if everyone's still here. I want to thank Phil for joining me tonight, and Jonathan and Charles. And once again, Charles and Valeria, happy anniversary. I toasted you 4 times. How about that? So I got to come down and see you. Courtney, if you're still with me, thanks for being here. Chi, my lovely wife, Chi. Tim, thanks for being here tonight. Take care of your daughter. She shows a lot of talent, a lot of promise. I think she's going to go far. Jonathan, let's see who else was in here with me tonight. Gina, I want to thank my sister Gina for being here once again. Gina, I'm thinking of you always. And let me know how you're doing. let's see, who else we had in here? A lot of people showed up later on. Alex, thanks for joining me in a laugh or two. Appreciate you being here. And Gordon, as always. Gordon, it's good to see you. And of course, Tom Antio, my son. Thank you for being here in the chat. Anyway, you can check us out on drinkwithrick.com. Check us out at drinkwithrick.com. You can catch the wine stream after the fact there, the replays. You can catch the podcast there, Drink with Rick Podcast. And you can contact me if you have any suggestions. If you want to be a sponsor, hey, I'm looking for sponsors, that's fine. I have no shame here. I'll beg for sponsors. Why not? Rick at SavoyaMedia.com. You can contact me at Rick at SavoyaMedia.com. Look, just shoot me an email. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what you'd like to see me drinking. Tell me if you have any recommendations for wines. Tell me if you'd like to send me a wine to try and review. I will do that. Just send me a wine to try out and review. I'll be happy to do that for you. Just send it all to me at Rick at SavoyaMedia.com. Of course, the podcast is available on all the major venues out there. We're on blueberry.com, and why was that the only thing I could think of at the moment? Must be the wine. Blueberry in the wine, I think. As a matter of fact, I think I could smell a little blueberry in the wine. Blueberry.com, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio. Well, by the way, we are, as of the last week, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but we are now on iHeartRadio. You can catch us on iHeartRadio. You can catch us on TuneIn, and on your Alexa or your Google Podcasts, and of course Apple Podcasts. We're all over the place, folks. You can catch us there. Deezer, that's okay if you're familiar, if you use Deezer. We're all over the place there. Catch us on the podcast there. Anyway, thank you very, very much for being with me. I really do appreciate you being here. I appreciate your attention and your input and joining me in the chat. Remember, don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Have a safe week. Have a great week. Have a safe week. And join me here next week where we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.